Well, here's a nice pretty sight to look at. This is all of my Miele S3s or 300 series. All 7 of them. There is another one of these, but it's going to another collector. Yeah, I thought I'd get them all out for a video. I think I'm sitting on the hose. Yeah, I was. I thought I'd get them all out for a video. Just look at each one, look at the tools, and yeah, I thought it would be cool. So I have 7. The first one I got was this one, I think. But I think it got used as a bits machine, so it is scrap, basically. It does work though. So I'm on the lookout for a better dark blue one. I've had that one quite a while as well, and then I gave it away to another collector, but then we swapped Miele's, and I've got it back. And that turquoisey one I've had for quite a while too. So we'll look at this one first. This is probably the one I've seen the most of in the UK anyway. The Miele S3 12i. I can't tell if it's a base model or anything. I think that's sort of a basic one. Hard to tell because I don't know much on them. Oh, I meant to get the Miele S3 instruction book out. We'll look at that at the end. But yeah, this one has the speed dial. It's a bit stiff. This one has been well used, and the carbon brushes are nearly away in it. Something I can't seem to find is carbon brushes for these. And I ordered a couple of sets when I did see some on eBay. It turns out they just do not fit at all. I don't think they're remotely fitted. So I don't know, I'm sort of just using scrap machines for carbon brushes now. So I could do with somewhere I could get carbons. This one has 3 tools. I don't think they're quite original though. This one's like rounded off, it's so worn. And the dusting brushes don't tend to look very nice after 20 years, but what can you expect? This one's also incredibly filthy. But yeah, we're not going to dwell on this one too much. Next we have quite an interesting one. Now I have made a video on this one before, but I actually bought another one to fix it. Its motor was seized, and then I ended up needing another one for parts anyway. So this is an S324i, and it has what I think is a very cool sliding speed control, which I really like. Same on-off switch, and also this one has a sort of Rolex plug, whereas all the other Miele's have a well, this one's not got the original plug. I was going to show you. Have a different molded plug. I'll show you that in a minute. No pause park switch or anything. The same tools, although this one has a grey upholstery tool. I need a black one. I think it's genuine though. Same brush. This brush isn't too bad actually. This one's also not been cleaned yet, so it's really minging. As you can see. But yeah, it's the same sort of principle as each Miele. And something that hasn't broken. I think there's 3 things that go wrong with Miele S3s. Number 1, these hose handles wear out and they slip out the poles. I think it's because people hoover like that and they wear the ends out, so it doesn't click in properly. So I have got quite a few that when you use it the handle flies out. This one doesn't though. Second fault is in here. You'll see what holds this bag tube together is 4 clips, and if we look at this one, the clips are totally sheared off. They've probably become brittle and broken off, you can't really see. So I've glued this one in, and it does work just fine if you glue the holders in. It doesn't seem to have any adverse effect. However, this one is intact, which is quite good. The third thing I was going to say to go wrong with Miele S3s, I can't remember what the third thing was, so there you go. Yeah, so they're the main things that can go wrong with these. I don't think they're pretty bulletproof otherwise. You can use them for plaster dust, the motors still work. Cheapo bags, they tend to survive just because the motors are pretty solid. This one is quite an interesting one. I've never seen one of these before, a 313i. So I don't know which floor brush it would have came with. This one was unit only, but it did come with all its paperwork and original J style Miele bags, because these took what Miele called J paper bags. But obviously I think they must have just made them all FGM at one point. This one was 99p and it is barely being used, as you can see by the condition. The only fault is the tool holder is broken, and I did find somebody who was willing to sell me one, but they wanted 30 quid for it, so yeah, I quickly told them shove that. So I suppose I'll just get by with this one. As you can see, the tools on this one are all pretty good. You know, so this one does seem to have barely been used. Also, the suppressor blew on this one, which wasn't fun. In fact, it might even still have, yep, it still has the filter that was in it when the suppressor blew. You can see the sparks that come out. It burned a hole in the filter. Yeah, but I found with these, the suppressor's like just a white thing mounted on the circuit board of the motor. You can just pull it off and they still work, so that's easy. This one has an older type FJM bag, and again, this one hasn't been cleaned, but you can see it doesn't really need cleaned. Because it has barely been used, although there's some muck on the filter. I'll just stick that filter back in now. Happy to say all my S3s work. All 7 of them. But yeah, this one's really nice. Again, it's just got the standard dial speed control. This is the molded plug I was talking about. All the S3s I've seen have this, except these ones are the early ones that had like Rolex plugs on. And also, another thing, the cable wheels on them are all still really good after 20 years. Because these are 20 years old, but in my opinion, they would still make great modern vacuums, and that tool door is going to fall off. Next we have this. This is quite an interesting one. This is much newer than these. Well, I say much newer. This is about 2005. This was a budget model in the UK. S381. This has an 1800 watt like Vortex Miele motor, not one of the old classic motors. I got this with another blue Miele S3 the same, but I swapped it with Kevin for that, which I'd already given him. So these were sort of sold as budget machines. So the main differences are the tools. You got a sort of budget dusting brush. You didn't get the oval one. A newer upholstery tool. They have a slightly different hose inlet, so they do take a different hose. I didn't get the hose for this one out, but it's the same as an S700 hose. Inside it's the same. This is a bit different. You see there's no clips to break. And obviously it sounds a bit different. I will run this compared to a normal S3 and you can hear the difference. Slightly different speed control. Well, not different. No light. And I suppose that's the only difference really. On-off switch, that one's a bit stiff. But yeah, so that was sold as a budget machine, and it did come with the same head as a Miele S3. It had the newer style hose hand grip. But yeah, that makes a pretty solid budget machine. If that's what Miele call a budget option, then the real ones are pretty deluxe. Then we have this, which I'm going to guess was a budget option, or the basic S3, because there was no speed control. This one's a bit scabby here, and I managed to put deep scratches in it when I took it out the garage, but apart from that, it's pretty good. I paid a tenner for this. Purely an impulse buy. You can see everything else is the same. Bit of muck in there. The cable wheel's the same. That cable wheel's really good. Small tools are the same. Scabby dusting brush. I think this would have came with 2 like poles, not a telescopic tube. It would have came with 2 like twist together poles. That maybe makes it a bit basic. And we have the Solution S3, which the plastic's a bit dull on, but apart from that, it's good. This would have came with 3 flow heads, I think. I have them all out to show you. This is probably quite a deluxe model. This one has lots of original tools. Again, the brushes all go scabby, they're ancient. Oh, that's eBay. Same fault as normal. You see the glue's a bit messy on this, but I had to glue this in. Oh, there's no pre-motor filter in it. But same filter, same setup. This is getting a bit boring now, isn't it? One more. Cat and Dog S3, which I cleaned up, but probably needs another clean. Because I think Kevin did use this. Oh wow. Cast is very smooth on this. They are really smooth. Compared to that, this one just glides. I think I must have greased these casters. I don't know. I can hear grease in there. It's sort of slopping the grease. I must have greased them. Same tools. This would have came with a Cat and Dog. In fact, it did come with a Cat and Dog turbo brush. Not one of the early type ones. One of the modern type ones like this. We'll come to flow heads in a minute. You know, and it also had, well, this one didn't have it. This one just had a normal filter, but I think they would have had carbon filters of some kind. So this one does actually have a carbon filter in it. It's just an old one though. Some of the clips are broken in this one, but they're largely okay. But yeah, same S3 setup. Another S3 model I've had, which I did scrap, was a yellow one called the Sunflower. And it had a dial speed control, yellow casing. But it was really well used and scrapped, so I just scrapped it for parts. But it would have been nice to have, because I've only ever seen another Sunflower, and that lives with Adam. So, yeah. Here's our S3 hose, the classic sort of double swivel hose grip, valve, and this hose end. Then we have two different styles of telescopic tube. What I'm guessing is the earlier style. It's just a little bit different. This one came with that S3 with the slidey control, and all the rest of them came with these as far as I know, except that yellow one would have probably had two friction fit poles. Not much difference. I wonder if there's a difference in height actually. That'd be quite interesting because one of them looks slightly longer. Sorry for having to drop my phone on the floor. I've bust my tripod. Right, they're both extended and roughly lined up. Oh, this one's longer. So the slightly newer one is longer. Interesting. You don't learn stuff like that anywhere else but here. And then here's the floor heads I have. This is the classic, which anyone who's heard of Miele has probably seen one of these. It's like all the S3s had them, I think, except some of them. We'll come on to that. Well, all of them didn't have it then, you know what I mean. Pretty bulletproof. Nice wide nozzle actually, not like some of the newer Miele nozzles, quite wide. And then the other head I've seen is this, what they call a universal head. This one came with that, and I find them a bit useless on hard floors. I also have another one of these that came with my 400, but instead of a brush strip, it has like a velvet strip. That's the only difference. So it's sort of got a floating base plate. It's a nice idea, but on hard floors it just sticks. We have this. I've had a couple of these, and I find them utterly useless, because although the brushes are lovely and thick, and they're natural brushes, they don't suck up the crumbs, they just sort of push them around because it's so thick you can't get dust through them. And then the turbo brush, which is the same as what they use today in the UK anyway. This is a Turbo Plus that came with that. I did have the turbo brush branded Cat and Dog for that, but then I got rid of it. But, you know, bulletproof turbo brush nonetheless. So I think I'll pause, or I'll just quickly plug two of them in and let you hear. Obviously we have a couple of differences, but this blue one has a newer motor, so it'll sound a bit more like what you're used to in a modern Miele. Let's plug it in. Oh, it's come on. No bag in it, so it might be a bit noisy. So yeah, it resembles a modern Miele motor. It doesn't sound the same, but it does, you know, remind you of that. And if we look at, let's try this one. Also, this one has no speed control, so it's just going to default to max power. Yeah. And we'll try the solution one. And this one has a speed control. Now none of these have soft starts except for this. And what that means is if I was to switch this one on high, it would jump right to high. It wouldn't start at low and go zzz, like a modern Miele. They don't have soft starts. This is one on and off. That's off. Yep, cool. Well, I'll demonstrate the slidey speed control while we're here. Be rude not to. I think the sliding speed control is really cool. And unlike all of these, it actually has distinctive sort of settings. It's got 5 different settings instead of these which have, well, they have minimum, maximum and economy, but this one's got furniture and fitted carpets. Again, no soft start, so it just jumps right on. It doesn't start on low and go softly up. Yeah, so I don't think anything really beats a Miele S3. I was going to get the instruction book out, but it's buried, so I'll not bother. I think they're very nice machines. Personally, if Miele were to reintroduce them, I don't think anybody would be saying, "Ooh, this is an old Hoover." I think they'd just think it's a Miele, you know. I was trying to arrange these nice, but yeah, there you go. Yeah, so that's my 7. My point was, if you used one in 2021, it's still a good machine. I wouldn't go and get one off eBay because it would probably be well used and need servicing. But if you're a collector, pick one up. They're really nice. Take it from me. Anyway, thanks for watching this geeky video, and we'll see you in the next one.